Today's lesson is on dichotomous keys. So before we jump in, I have a question for you. Why is it important for us to identify animals? Okay. So here's a situation for you to help you answer the question. Say you're walking in nature, walking along the sidewalk, and then you go off and start walking in the woods. Okay. You come across an animal, you have no idea what it is. So now we have an issue. What do we do? Do we continue walking like everything's okay? Do we hightail our butt out of there as fast as we can? Or do we need to stay still until said animal moves? Right. It would be nice to know if said animal is dangerous or not. Wouldn't you agree? So why is it important for us to identify animals? So we know how to handle that situation. Whether it's we need to run away, whether we need to be on alert, or whether we can continue on our way and know that everything is okay. So it's very, very important for us to be able to identify animals even if we don't know what they are. Okay? So that leads us to a dichotomous key. And no, we're not talking about a key that unlocks a door somewhere or, that unlocks the mystical world of Narnia. Okay? We're talking about a tool. And a dichotomous key is a tool to help us identify objects. Okay, in our case, we're going to focus in on animals, but just know that dichotomous keys can be used to identify other things as well. Okay, so how do we use one? Okay, good question. And if you follow these steps, you'll have no problems reading and using a dichotomous key. Because trust me, it's easy peasy. All right, first things first, you always start with step number 1. Not step number 5, not step number 8, step number 1. Okay. When you are at step number 1, you will be given some choices. For example, gray spots, yellow spots, striped fur, non-striped fur. Okay. And based on what you're seeing and said unknown animal, you will pick the best choice. Okay. So for example, it looks like that it has gray spots. So that is the choice that I will make. After you have picked your choice, you will go to the left, to the right, and you'll notice it will give you another direction. Okay, go to number 7. Okay, so I'm going to follow like it says. I'm going to go down to step number 7, and then I'm presented with another pair of choices. And just like before, based on what I see in said unknown animal, I will choose the best choice and then follow the directions wherever it takes me. Okay, and I will continue that process until I hit the name of that unknown animal. And that's it. You just start off with step 1, look at unknown animal, pick the best choice, and it will tell you where you need to go until you hit the name of the animal. See? It's easy peasy, right? If you need an example or kind of like a step-by-step to walk you through one, go ahead and check out the PowerPoint that would go along with this video, the dichotomous key PowerPoint. All right, so what if I need to create a dichotomous key? How do I go about to doing that? Okay, well, if you follow these steps, you'll be good. Okay, and don't worry if these steps seem a little bit confusing at first. We'll definitely go back and review this in class, so don't fret. Okay, so first things first, what you want to do is you want to carefully observe the traits of each animal. Okay, so say you have 6 animals in front of you, you want to look at each of those 6 animals and see, okay, what kind of traits am I seeing? What kind of characteristics do they have? Okay, and remember, we want to do visual characteristics or visual traits, because if it's an animal that we have no idea about, how do we know its gestation period is, 3 to 4 weeks? I have no idea what the animal, what it's even called, let alone its gestation period. All right, so you want to do observable traits or observable characteristics. Okay, after observing them, make a list. Okay, so make a list of traits that you can use to sort them and put them into groups. So remember the whole idea with taxonomy, with classifying stuff, makes things easier. We're going to see that kind of come back when it comes to creating dichotomous keys. Okay, it's all about grouping stuff. Okay, so just make you a list of different traits that you're seeing that you can use to group them in. For example, these animals have wings. These animals have fins. These animals have gills. These animals have lungs. Okay, and so forth and so forth. And again, you want to base this on whatever animals that you're trying to identify. Okay, once you have a list, then you're ready to get started. Okay, you want to pick one of the traits from your list and you want to make sure to divide them into two groups. Okay, so pick one of your traits and you should be able to divide them into two groups. Okay, from there, you want to choose a specific trait. Okay, so for example, if we are doing wings versus no wings, okay, we'll focus in on wings. Okay, so that's going to be our specific trait that we're going to focus in on. Okay, and then what we're going to do is those animals that have wings, what trait could we use to further sort them out into another group? So in said group, I have feathers, no feathers. Okay, so I have my feather group and I have my no feather group. Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm taking a trait, separating them into two groups, kind of focusing on one specific trait, and then again sorting them out. Okay. All right. I'm going to continue this until I get all of the animals from that particular group named. Okay. So from the first group named. So wings versus no wings. I'm looking at the wings. There's feathers, no feathers. I have a bird that has feathers, and I have a bat that does not have feathers. Okay, and there you go. I have completed that first group of animals. I have identified two of my animals. Okay, then what you're going to do, you're going to go back and you're going to repeat the same steps over and over again until you get each of your animals identified. Okay, again, it's going to seem a little bit complicated, but don't worry, we're going to revisit this in class together. Okay. All right. If you go to the Dichotomous Key PowerPoint, which I've referred to before earlier in the video, you will see a slide that has some animals on it. What I would like for you to do at the end of the video is to pull up the PowerPoint, go through these steps, and see what you can do with creating a dichotomous key for those particular animals. Okay? And again, if you are still confused, do not worry. We will revisit this in class. Okay? So make sure to have questions ready to go, and we will make sure that you get everything straightened out. All right, guys, and that's it for dichotomous keys.